Hearty welcome to the Chat with Champ show, the program which you're all been waiting and to hear the champions, the message for life. So today's champion is going to talk about the beginning is here, the beginning is today. Let's begin. Whatever we begin is today. So let's do it. So she has been a part of a lot of social journey, business journey. So journey is beautiful, and whenever you start, so the beginning always happens to be today. तुम चलने का हौसला तो करो दिशाएं बहुत हैं तुम चलने का हौसला तो करो दिशाएं बहुत हैं कांटों की फिक्र मत करो तुम्हारे साथ दुआएं बहुत हैं lot of blessings are there as you start your journey. And today to join with us we have a beautiful and a wonderful mind. We have Rajalakshmi with us. Rajalakshmi, hearty welcome to you to this
Thank you,
Chat with Cham show. A great honor to have you. In fact, a personality who has been there into social field, helping a lot of projects. I remember when the Bal Gurukul was started, and you have been traveling all the way, taking the bus in Chennai from one place to another. And from there you went to London, and from there now you're in Germany. So wonderful journey, and you didn't leave your roots. The roots have been always with you, and you got it very strong. And you said that yes, let me give back, let me be part of the society, and you are with us. You are the champion. So we welcome you with the Chat with Champ clap. Here we go.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be doing this with you right now.
So a lot of champions have come. They have shared their values, their journey, and the wonderful journey that they had. Sharing goodness among the people. So each one were driven by one message or the other, and your message is also wonderful. The beginning is here, and it is today. So we need not procrastination is not good for anything, right? So
Absolutely.
Youth like you come forward and then guide. And I remember the quote from Swami Vivekananda says that you're all lions when he used to talk about the youth in the country, because he was very fond of youth. And today, even the National Youth Day is celebrated as his birthday. So he used to say that lions are with the youth. So you can do so much that transformation can happen. So your journey from SBOA matriculation or SBOA school in Chennai, and from there, to Bal Gurukul teaching children in the Bal Gurukuls. Bal Gurukul, which we started in the name of Dr. Kalam in 2015, when he blessed before that we had a proposal to talk about that. So how was the journey? How did that spark come in you, Rajalakshmi?
It was a spur of the moment decision that I made when you and Dr. Pillai came to our school to talk about IDF and the projects that you run. And the next day I was like, I want to get involved. There was no forethought, there was no thinking through anything. I just went, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of something bigger than what I am. I want to be part of. I need a collectivism instead of individualism. So I just went. Okay, I will send this email. We will see if they respond. If they respond well and good, I will be part of it. If not, it won't be a lost opportunity. So I just emailed and I got an email back, and within 2 weeks I was at the Bal Gurukul every Saturday and Sunday teaching these children. So that is why I went with this quote, the beginning is always today, because the decisions you make today can change your life for the next 5 years or even a lifetime. So I think it was just, and honestly, that was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So I will look back to that day and pat myself on the back, really.
Quick decision. You are known for taking decisions, and I know the children used to wait for you. You used to travel, used to take bus and from one place to the other, and then try to reach to the destination. And children used to receive, Akka, please come.
Yes, it was wonderful. I really do still miss those days. And even when I moved to the UK for the first couple of years, when when somebody else took over. It was, in fact, my classmate who took over, and he would video call me whenever he was there, and I would take my lunch break with them and talk to them whenever I could, like at least like once a month or something. And then obviously I couldn't do it anymore, but until I could, I would always try and like keep the connection going. And whenever I came back to India, I would always at least pay a few visits before I returned. So that was some of, I think, in fact, that has still influenced my decision to work with children now. So like I said, it was one of the best decisions I'd made.
From there you went into a lot of the career choosing career has become very important. So you want to
Yes.
be with, so the more the behavioral programs that you have taken up and things like, though we are going to talk on that, how do we choose a career in life, which is very important for any youth for that matter, because people, children are on the crossroad. I know there are children who are in grade 1, they decide what they want to be. By the time their boards, the career path differs, it varies. The new paths, the new career, the new professions would have come by then. So how do you, when you are at that station of life and when you're asked to choose a career, which is very important, and you chose a very good career, the behavioral science that you have done,
Yes.
psycholinguistics, behavioral science, cognition, all those things that you have done. So how did you choose this, Rajalakshmi?
Again, spur of the moment decision. I wanted to, I was at a crossroads again between doing law and psychology. And at one point in time, I decided to go with, well, the cheaper option, because when the university that I applied to for psychology with neuropsychology was giving me a scholarship. So I was like, this sounds like a better option. The place looks wonderful as well. So I just decided I would go with that instead of law. And when I first started reading up, because I was always interested in biology and like in general about behavior and everything. So when I started psychology and biological psychology, I became very interested in the brain and how and specifically how the brain processes language. And that is how it was, again, once I started reading up on it, once I started becoming more experienced in psychology and in behavior in general, I decided I'd experimented with a lot of stuff. And then when I decided I liked this part of it, I decided I will give this a try. And I did my final year project on like language and language processing, and then that has led me to work with children now on how they acquire language and how they build up their vocabulary. So it is not a straight path. You have to take diversions, you have to take the long route instead of the shortcut. And it is important to explore things before you decide. Even if you say, okay, I want to work with children, for example, there are no set career paths to doing that. For example, you can be a teacher, you can be a pediatrician, you can also work with children as a therapist. So if you have one goal in mind, that does not mean that you can only take one path. There are many roads that lead to the same destination. So it is your choice to choose which scenery to take and how to get there. And honestly, you can always switch between lanes as well. So it is not that if you choose one direction, it does not mean that you cannot shift. You can always economy, and then they ended up working in neuroscience. So it is always, I think, once you gain enough experience, you have the ability to be fluid, to be flexible enough to change into something that you really like. So I think at the crux of the matter, it is the first decision that matters, and then beyond that, you have to be open minded in order to choose something.
Great, Rajalakshmi. We always feel proud when a social ambassador of IDF travels this path and does a lot of research work and then share this knowledge with people. So that has been a great, proud moment for the foundation, particularly because students like you, they inspire many who can take up social projects and also do good in fact, master of all can and jack of all, both are possible.
Yes.
So we need to try, as you said, flexibility is very important. You need to be fluid wherever you are, and you need to give time. It will not happen overnight, and which is very, very important. And the new path that you choose is again that a studied approach is also important, or somebody can guide. So as you are here into this neuroscience cognition you have done, it's a 5-year work that you have done, or 4-year work that you have done. So what does it all entail? How does one, for example, if somebody is looking for entering into this field as a career?
As a career, I think first, I think knowledge is very important. You need to first read up. It is one of those things where experience will help, but also your theoretical knowledge is very very important, because sometimes you might like the work they do, like the results, but you may not specifically like the methodology. For example, MRI scans and everything take hours to perfect, and for a methodology to work with MRI you need to have so many safety measures, you have to change your methodology a lot for it to be adapted to working with an MRI machine. And if you don't like any of that but you only like the end result, you must be willing to work with the changes that you have to make in order to get the result that you want. And not only that, you need to have this sort of, not, you don't need to be knowing everything, but you need to be willing to listen to somebody who knows more than you in order for you to understand more about your own subject and whether you want to work in it or not. So it is, first it's knowledge. You have to know some theory. Again, this is not always applicable, but sometimes it is necessary to have that base, that concrete, you know base for you to build up on it. And beyond that, it is, I think, the climbing the ladder gets easier once you know that. But again, there are many there are many obstacles, and you need to be willing to pass them. I think that is what is very important, because and again, you have to give it time, because for you to know what you're doing. Because 1 year ago, I applied for PhDs. I did not get any, and I was very disappointed. I was like, I'm never doing a PhD. I'm never getting into academia. But once I had more experience with my second year, I then understood what they wanted in us, and then I adapted my resumes and my motivation letters according to the person that I will be working with, and then I ended up in a much much better position than I would have been 1 year ago. So I think it is also important to gain that experience and knowledge before you're ready to hand out your CV to your desired employer or your desired lab that you want to work with.
Awesome, awesome. You said it, or we can say you nailed it. You said fundamentals are very important. Fundamentals, the foundations. Sometimes you may see that the end result, we need to have a quick into the end results. We have to wait. The foundation has to be made stronger. The theory has to be made stronger. The reading habit is very important, which need to be taken up. We cannot straight away walk into the end result. There are a lot of things that would have gone into making of that, and the researchers behind who have worked behind. So these are some of the case studies or whatever that would come on the way, need to be read, need to be understood, so that the foundations become stronger, the fundamentals are clear. Then of course, then you are there. You can walk the
You
talk.
are never there. You are never there, and you can never be done. This is one of my other quotes that I really like by Florence Nightingale. We must never consider ourselves finished, because once you do, your learning stops there, and learning never stops in life. So you can never be done. Just because I am in a PhD position does not mean that I am done. I am still learning. I'm still learning while, obviously, teaching is the best way to learn, so you can also teach while you learn. And it is important to keep up with the new things that are coming up, that are not only your own work or your own studies, but you also need to keep up with your colleagues work, to make sure that you have a rounded knowledge of what about your subject or about your research area. So you are, like I said, we must never consider ourselves finished, and but because learning stops then, and that is never good.
I know researchers don't stop. In fact, it's an ongoing program, or for that matter, anything, any law for that matter, or accountancy for that matter, or even computers for that matter. You need to be upgraded, learning all the time. See that you are flowing with the times, though foundations are in place, but still you need to be keeping updated or abreast of what is happening which is very, very important. An ongoing, it has to be an ongoing learning process in your life, and a lot of updations which are very, very important. For which you need to have a lot of patience. So
Absolutely.
neuroscience is very, very important. All the faculties, your mental faculties need to keep working. You need to be balanced all through. And
But no,
of
you
course,
don't need to do it alone. So you can
yeah,
always have a support system.
support system, and there are also teamwork nowadays. For example, I remember there were around 1,000 scientists coming together and presenting one document. So one document, 1,000 scientists are working. Also, there
Yes.
are one being worked by one scientist, but teamwork and togetherness is again very important. The cohesiveness is also an important thing. An idea from different parts coming in, and then it culminates with a wonderful idea. So this is again very
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
Actually,
It
yeah.
is it is always I'm always amazed by the amount of work you coordinate yourself, because when I first saw the IDF awards in, I think, August 2015, I was just amazed at the way you handled the entire program. It was awe-inspiring for me, standing in the backstage watching you direct the entire thing while being on the stage. I think I did learn a lot that day, that one single day, from you about teamwork and delegation and everything. So it was, I think, it teamwork is one of the things. You can do things yourself, there is no question in that, but it is always good to have help, or it is always good to have another person with you, an equal or anyone, to be honest, to confide into, or like to discuss something with before, so you can get ideas from anything. So as long as when you even if you talk to a rock, you're going to listen yourself. You're going to hear yourself and then think, why am I saying this? Maybe I could have done it this way. So I think it is always good to express your ideas to someone, or anyone really, to you can get feedback with any sort of, like, even a little bit goes a long way. So I think this teamwork thing is very important, especially when you're working with somebody. Say if I'm a master student working with another PhD student, it is very important for you to even learn from them, because one day if you want to be like them, the thing is you have to start that day to look at them and like see, okay, this is what they're doing, so might as well also do these when I start my reading, or like when I start my own studies. And like when I'm so it's just, you can learn a lot from teamwork. It's not just that, again, the end result is always great, but also the whole journey of you with the other people will also make you gain a lot more experiences and knowledge along the way.
Thank you so much. I was here to give compliment to you, and rather you gave complimented. You complimented the word. It's a relay. It's a relay, right? When things are set in motion, and when people know what each one has to do, so it becomes a kind of an autopilot. For example, what you have just started one thing, and then later on
Mhm.
the pilot can sleep, and then things work on its own way. So
Yes.
we need to work in such a way that in autopilot mode, even if you are not there, this function, the show must go on. So I
Yes.
think the this is a great strength which normally qualifies for one to grow, to develop, and of course, what you said was sharing. We need to keep sharing. We need to keep updated, which is very, very important. And you have studied all this under the neuroscience, of course, how the mental balance work, how each cognition work, and things like that. I think here lies to understand the behavioral science of which for which you have done your masters, and we feel proud from Germany. Our social ambassador is joining us today. It's a great honor for the foundation per se. In fact, for us, it is a great honor that our student Raji has gone there and now she's talking to us.
The
She's
honor is all mine, sir. It is all mine. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy that you asked me to be a part of this. And I have been quite, because I have not come back in a while, and I have not had the time to visit the Bal Gurukul in 2 years now, actually. So I've always felt a little bit sad that I'm out of touch with these children, and like, especially because I that is where my passion started to, like, work with children in general, like now what I'm doing right now. So I think it was, I felt I felt sad that I could not get back to my roots per se. So, but and now this is a great opportunity for me to like reconnect with what I did and like to you know look back at what I've done and to remotivate myself to do what I'm doing right now. It just gives me another burst of passion to continue what I'm doing right now. So
Great, great. That's really very, very important. Thank you so much. And technology in place, I think we can get connected where
absolutely.
distance and time doesn't matter. So no standard times for that matter can stop anyone. With
Absolutely not. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, I used to call my other ambassador Charan to like have me talk with the children because they were just, and they would be, going out of their minds saying, Akka has come back, Akka has come back. So those were the times that I cherished the most, even though these were like 5 years ago when I, first moved here. And those days when I think I can't do anything, or when I feel down about myself, I think about these days and I think about what I've done for them, and what I learned from this experience, and I think, okay, this is, my thought process is illogical. I will, I tomorrow I will start again, and tomorrow I will persevere. So I think being part of IDF has also given me that, motivation and the confidence to do things that I would not usually do, because again the whole experience, the whole of my experience with IDF started with an email. So it was always a good lesson for me to know that things can change in an instant, and they can, you can feel the effects after many years. So I'm very grateful for IDF to have chosen me as an ambassador and for me to be a part of Bal Gurukul.
great, great. So what you said, one more point was the foundation when it is laid. So the initial groundwork that you have done, being with the children, and still you remember that, which is very, very important. Staying with the roots, staying connected to the roots is very, very important. And now looking into your doctoral program, which you have taken up now, that
Mhm.
is behavior and cognition. I'm sure you have started now. So we also would like to learn what will be your stand, how the journey is going to be in your program.
Well, I mostly work with very young children, so 1 to 2 years. But it is all about how they learn words in their developing vocabulary, how their plays with their mothers help them learn the words, essentially about the toys, and like how their own interest like how their own interest helps them learn specific words. So again, this is all about interest and and like curiosity. So if you're interested in something, you are more likely to re-engage with that. So if I'm interested in social work, I would re-engage again and again with IDF. I would not have stopped at my first Bal Gurukul session, and I would have just continued like I did. So but if it was just mere curiosity, you might drop it after a few months, saying I don't know, citing lack of time or something. So with how their interest changes how they learn in general. So, and that obviously does not apply just for children. I think it also applies for all of us adults as well, because again, our interest will drive us to do what we want best.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now you are going to study how a child learns language,
Mhm.
right? So
Yes.
now you are already grown up and you are going to learn a German language.
Yes, it is going to be again a journey, but I think it would be a lot easier for me, not because I know other languages, but because I'm immersed in that language and in that culture. So everyone speaks German to me whenever I go, and like even though I can't speak German, I try with my very broken accent and very broken German, saying, "Okay, I would like this," or "I would like to do this." So I think again, immersion is also very important, when not only while learning languages, but also when learning a trade or when learning anything, or like even when working with things, because the more you engage with the environment, the more you engage with your fellow colleagues, or like your fellow teachers, anyone, the more you learn about them and the more they learn about you. So there would be a how do I say, like a perfect homeostasis right there. When both of you understand each other, it is when communication is most optimal, as we say. So I think it will be easier for me because I'm in Germany, speaking German everywhere, hearing German everywhere. So it is again a wonderful opportunity, I would say, because language you don't lose something just because you learn something else. It just stays there. So learning another language is great.
Learning language is great. Yes, I think we should all, and you should write a book. How do you learn a language at the later part, so that people can get the information, so that they can pick up languages. If you look into India, which is rich with a lot of languages, and people are divide with the north and south and few languages, but still, if you crisscross, though English is window to the world, but still, if you learn the native language, you are
Mhm.
welcomed. For example, if I know Bengali and if I go to Calcutta, they will receive you well. And if I talk in Tamil in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, so the receptivity becomes very great, like as you are going to talk in Germany, in German language in Germany. So similarly, so the acceptance becomes, you become more homely. So
Absolutely. It is also important for you to try, even if you don't know anything. When I first came here, I tried to speak to everyone. I say, sorry, I don't really know German. Can we speak in English? They will give you a look and say, okay, fine. They will still speak to you in English, but there's a little bit of, them thinking maybe this person is not willing to learn. But I think again, when you, even if with your absolutely broken language skills, you can, I say, my German is not so good, can we, can you explain it to me a little bit slower so I can understand, or like, can you throw some English words in, and they're more happy to comply because you're initiating the contact with their native language and with their, you're approaching them in their own style. So I think it is paramount for you to first try before you ask somebody else to bend to your will. So even if you don't know the language, you can learn a couple of phrases, you can try and speak to them, whether it is Tamil or whether it is Bengali or whether it is Hindi. You can just at least say hello, or like, how are you in that language before you try and revert to a common ground, and they would always appreciate you more for it because you're at least trying.
correct. Yeah. For example, in which is very very important. I do not know what happens in Germany, but here in India, for every 10 mile, you have a different dialect. Even the same language, the language will also, the tone will change. So there will be one stretched one, there will be compressed one, there is a respectful one. So again, the dialects also vary from a place to place, with few miles away. That things, though in the same state, which has the same language. So these are again research, in-depth research that we need to make. And
Yeah.
one point that you made clear, Raji, was immersion. You need to get immersed into what you're doing. You need to get involved and engaged. So give 100%. So the moment you give 100%, I'm sure we can do wonders. So I, for one, also would like to learn languages. I though started with German language earlier, but I will see. I will give that 100% and come back.
Very well
Talk to
said.
you in German. Very soon we will do that. In fact, everyone should learn language, and the language of love and the language of happiness is also very, very important, which everyone should know, which starts with volunteering, which starts with social work. I know this
Absolutely.
pandemic would have, the entire world was put into a pause button, and everybody were into, we can't say helter skelter, but they were all stationed. They were all stationed wherever they were, barring the initial days. But still, how did you spend time during this pandemic lockdown, where you were not able to move, communications with people, work wise, study wise? How did you do that? So it was
It
a challenge.
was it was a big challenge because I was not at home. I was in a different country, 8,000 miles away, and I was pretty much living alone. And it was, I only had my work to deal with. But I think my mother did help me a lot with that, and I think like she has been like a big part of every decision that I have made, because not only because she was very supportive, but she would also give me some pointers to improve upon it. So I think speaking to her every day, just speaking to my relatives or like speaking to friends, even if you can't see them, it is still like it was very, at least I can say that I had some sort of human contact. So it was, I did not realize how difficult it was until like I almost got to the end of it with my moving to another country again. But during that time, I think without all of this support system, I think I would not have done so well, or like I would not have, you know, been so good.
Great. My respects and pranams to mother. I used to see her in our functions. She used to come with you.
Yes, and honestly, I am thankful for her as well for my involvement with IDF, because she never once questioned it or like told, okay, it's too late or it's too early for you to travel by bus. She never, gave me restrictions in any sort of manner for me to do anything that I wanted. And I think that was one of, when I say I did all of this, I think I know that I cannot have done it without her support and her encouragement. So I think she also deserves like a wonderful clap for her involvement in my life. So
Correct, correct. You may be missing the South Indian delicacies as you're far away, though you are
I,
used to
I,
many.
I do. It is very difficult to find things, but I make do. So at least I cook something vaguely home, like when I'm feeling very homesick, or read some, watch some movies, some Tamil movies, when like some the old ones, like from the 1950s, 1960s, just to hear the language and like the mannerisms and the colloquialisms. So I can chase away thankfully, the homesickness that way. But I know many people, still struggle with it. But I'm glad that my bar is very low with dealing with them.
Even watching movies has become a part of your study and research. That's again great.
Absolutely,
So what you see,
yeah.
whatever you travel, so your research wings are open, your eyes are open, and you're on the job wherever you are, right?
Yes.
As Rajashmi, as a personality, few years down the line, what do we see, or what do you visualize yourself to be?
Wow, this is. I think I would like to get more into academia, because that is what I started with my PhD, especially. So I think my research is with language. So I think I would like to explore more of it, and maybe end up, I don't know, maybe a lecturer somewhere, or at least like a research coordinator. That is my kind of goal in life. My I think a few years down the line, I still see myself learning and working with the people that I still work with, and coming up with new ways to explore other things, more things about language. So that is, I hope that is what I'm exactly where I am in terms of learning, and in terms of collaboration, and in terms of knowledge acquisition. So yeah, I hope I'm still there 5 to 10 years later.
Yes, great, great. And final takeaway message from Rajalakshmi for the youth in the country or in the globe. What is the takeaway message that you can give?
Never hesitate to experience new things, and explore new things, I think, and always keep an open mind as to what you want to do. Don't just stick. It is good to stick with one thing, but it is always good to have a little bit of exploration, and a little bit of trying new things before you settle on something.
It's wonderful message. Open, be open to whatever it comes. Experienced all the things that comes on your way. It
And
was
for
nice talking.
the parents,
Sorry.
please support your child.
Yes, parents support your child. Yeah, the growth pattern wherever the child wants to go. Though
Yes,
you guide, but still allow them to grow and allow them to move and flow with the flow, which is very very important. Yeah. It was nice having you in the chat with Cham Show, Rajalakshmi. We'll certainly touch base and see that now you will have a new Bal Gurukul where you can teach children German language too.
absolutely. I'm looking forward to coming back once this is all over, and going back to the Kalam Bal Gurukul to see how many children are still there. How
Thank you
many of
so
the
much.
ones that I know that is?
Sorry?
How many of the ones that I know are still there? I want to go see one day.
Yes, 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 yes. Please, you will. You will. The moment you come, your next destination is Kalam Bal Gurukul. at
Yes,
IDF
absolutely.
office, Pair Chennai. Thank you for once again, Rajalakshmi.
Thank you, sir.
Viewers are watching this wonderful show, Chat with Champ, and Rajalakshmi had said openness is very important, and the beginning is wherever you are there today, you start and begin, and you immerse yourself, which is very important in life. We need to get immersed, get engaged, and learn, get experience, whatever comes on our way. Our champions are showing way because they have experienced the social path and they have interned in some or the other social projects. So our sincere gratitude to them. More champions are going to come and join hands and see that the championship momentum is going to gain in the days to come. Have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.